Hi, this is Michael Parent with Michael Parent Consulting Services. I wanted to give you a short little demo of a project we completed for a client. This client is a payroll client, and essentially they had a very manual process um, that really took a lot of time and a lot of human effort to get their payroll system in line so that they can actually pay their employees. So what's going on is they get these files from different business lines, and these are they use a vendor for this, but essentially so you open up these text files, and they are text files. It's just a bunch of garbage. It's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of zeros, it's a lot of dashes. So they had a lot of tribal knowledge in saying this is how we parse through this text file and grab the information that we want. But there was nothing documented, and there was really no standard in place that if somebody left, they would really not have the knowledge to know how to actually pay their employees. Moreover, they have this file, they called it kind of the balancing worksheet, and they have to allocate these funds based on some cost centers to different, well, I guess they have to allocate the funds to the cost centers, but then they're going to run in their human resources management software, they're going to run a splitter process because they have different payrolls. They have a paid current, they have a paid lag, and a couple others. So they want to ensure that nothing is lost in that process. So they have to balance it before that process and then after. So what you're going to see here, I'm going to show it once, but they do it twice on the other side. And we were able to speed it up on both sides. So what happens in this process is they would naturally open up these files. They would open them up in Excel. We'll go here. We'll say we're going to open them up. And as we go here, we will go to the demo files and we'll select the demo file. Okay, and then Excel naturally asks us for, okay, how do you want to actually break out this data? And for our purposes, they actually cared about those first three numbers right there. So they would make a column there. And then amazingly, you won't believe it, there's a little column right here. It's a dash. You're looking for a dash. Very, very important. But if you don't know this information, if there's nothing documented, the operation is an incredible amount of jeopardy. So you would grab these data, and the data look like this parsed, and then they actually don't care about most of this. Um, all of this data here on down from is what they care about. So it looks like there is about 148 records that they care about. Everything else is kind of like the summary, the account summary. Everything else is all the transactions, so they don't actually need that. They can delete it. But what's very important, firstly, is that all of these data in column E are not in dollars and cents. They're just in cents. So we have to first divide by 100 for all of these. So that's what these folks would do. They would divide by 100. And now, instead of pennies, we have it in terms of dollars. But we also have these dashes here. And what these dashes mean, of course, is that, um, if this equals a negative, then it's -1. I'm withdrawing from that account. Otherwise, it's that account. So you can see here that if you miss that dash, if you don't parse that correctly to begin with, you're in a lot of trouble very, very, very quickly. So we do this, we now have the correct amounts. And now all we have to do, we're not even putting it into the worksheet, and I'm moving relatively quickly. Um, but all we have to do now is match up these values to the cost centers. So in this case, we'll start here. Um, we'll say cost center 8, and we would go here and select cost center 8, and we would say it's -777.68, and then we would do the next one. We might not do it so manually. We might copy and paste, but they're not all in a row, right? It jumps from 9 to 36. So um, it's an incredible amount of work. They have to do this 148 times, and that's just one record. As you saw in my demo files, we have 4 records to go through. So this is just it's a grind, right? It's really difficult to do. So what our solution was that we created essentially a bunch of files, or excuse me, we created a preparation worksheet where they could go in, they could write some other stuff in here. But essentially, what they want is they want these demo files, and we can use this cool thing called Shift right click and copy as path. Um, and then we can actually, I'll just do a couple of them. I'll do two of them. We can paste it in here. We'll close down that demo file, make sure it's not open. And then if we just click automate, we'll see how quickly this process is transformed. So macro is running in the background, it's doing its job, and it's complete. And just like that, in real time, I didn't stop the video or anything like that. You can see I've actually included all of those values. You can see they're the correct values. This negative 77768 was something that we populated just a moment ago, but we've also done the other file. So very, very quick, actually relatively easy from a programming and macro standpoint, and it saved the company just an incredible amount of time. So it's just one case study in how you can actually use Excel, really leverage it to its nth degree to save robust operations. This is a payroll operation, right? And obviously they're using a different system to pay people, but we know that there's all kinds of heavy lifts that go on in the background, and this is just one example of how to make someone's life better through some good operations management, some Lean Six Sigma thinking, and a couple tricks in Excel.